Welcome to another episode of where we break down major political events and debates, helping you cut through the noise to understand the key takeaways. Today, we're talking about the highly anticipated ABC News presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. This debate, moderated by David Muir and Lindsay Davis, was a crucial moment in the 2024 election. We're diving into what was said, what it means, and how it could affect the race moving forward. Stick around, this is going to be a good one. Let's start with the opening statements. Kamala Harris came out strong, focusing on her vision for an opportunity economy, with a big emphasis on small businesses and middle-class families. She's framing herself as the candidate who's going to lift up the middle class with policies like a $6,000 child tax credit and $50,000 tax deduction for small businesses. On the other hand, Donald Trump immediately went on the attack, criticizing the Biden administration's handling of the economy. His focus was clear: America's global standing has slipped, and he's promising to restore it. Now let's break down the economy segment. Harris pushed hard on her plan to invest in the middle class, but Trump wasn't having it. He blamed the current administration for inflation and claimed his economic policies, tariffs, tax cuts, were the real path to recovery. They were going back and forth, and you could tell this was a key issue for both camps. Then came taxation, a heated part of the debate. Harris proposed extending tax benefits for the middle class and took shots at Trump's tax cuts for the wealthy. Trump denied it all, pivoting to emphasize tariffs over any Trump sales tax that Harris mentioned. Let's talk about immigration and border security. This is where Trump really laid into Harris, accusing her of allowing criminals into the United States and mishandling the fentanyl crisis. He talked about using the National Guard to deal with undocumented immigrants. Harris, on the other hand, went after Trump's record, saying he blocked critical border security bills. It was a fierce exchange, but it clearly highlighted how different their approaches are. Next, abortion was another intense issue. Harris pulled no punches, calling Trump out for his role in overturning Roe v. Wade. She framed his stance as extreme, highlighting that bans under his administration didn't allow exceptions for rape or incest. Trump's response was that the issue is now up to the states, no national ban from him. But Harris wasn't letting that go. It was a defining moment in the debate. Foreign policy was next, with Harris talking about Israel and pushing for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict, while also advocating a two-state solution. Trump went big on his claim that under his leadership, the Israel-Hamas conflict and the Russia-Ukraine war would never have escalated. He leaned into his relationships with Putin and Netanyahu as proof of his diplomatic prowess. Now let's talk healthcare. Harris defended Obamacare, emphasizing the Biden administration's focus on lowering drug prices. Trump wasn't impressed. He criticized Obamacare, but admitted he didn't dismantle it during his presidency. He hinted at future reforms, but there were no specifics. And finally, climate change. Harris pushed for more investment in clean energy and jobs, but Trump was clear. He thinks climate change is a hoax, and blamed Biden's energy policies for crippling the economy. It was a classic clash of visions, Harris leaning into environmentalism, Trump doubling down on energy independence. So, who won? Well, that depends on who you ask. Kamala Harris excelled in pushing her policy-driven vision for the future. She focused on the middle class, healthcare, and climate change, which likely resonated with progressives and moderates. She also made a strong stand on abortion and foreign policy, particularly on the issue of Israel. Donald Trump, on the other hand, hammered home his past economic successes and criticized the current administration on inflation, border security, and foreign relations. His straightforward, combative style likely energized his base and appealed to voters concerned with economic instability and global security. For progressives, Harris probably came out on top. Her positions on healthcare, climate change, and abortion were strong. But for conservatives, Trump likely reaffirmed his position as the tough, no-nonsense leader many feel is needed to turn things around. The real question is what impact this debate had on undecided voters. Did Harris win them over with her detailed plans, or did Trump's strong persona and focus on the economy make the difference? Before we wrap up, let's address the big question: so what? What's the takeaway from this debate? For one, both candidates doubled down on their core messaging. Harris wants to build an inclusive, opportunity-rich economy, while Trump is focused on restoring past economic strength and taking a hard line on security. This debate likely reinforced voter preferences rather than drastically shifting opinions. Harris solidified her base with progressive policies and a call for unity, while Trump stuck to his guns, promising a return to strength and order. In the end, this debate will shape the narrative going into the final months of the 2024 campaign. Whether it'll move the needle for undecided voters, we'll have to wait and see. That's it for today's episode of The Answer. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you enjoyed today's breakdown. And as always, keep asking, so what? Because that's where the answers lie. See you next time, everyone.